What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Steel City Live here on Mike Drop Sports. I'm Jason. What is up? Hopefully, everybody's enjoying their Friday. As always, make sure you're smashing that like button for us here at the beginning of the show. I appreciate it oh so much. What's up, TD? Brian? What's up, George T? What's up, guys? Um, Steel City Live rocks on a Friday. Yes, no doubt, man. Glad you all are already in the chat, lighting it up. I appreciate it, Brian S. Is it Devontae Adams? Anyone remember that moment last year where he took over a few series? Devontae Adams, what a special talent, man. Did you guys see that clip of him where he was like, look, I got to get the hell out of here, man. I've never got hit like this before. And that was reference to his time so far with the Raiders. He's not been smacked around and beat up the way that he has so far with the Las Vegas Raiders in his career. So, yeah, he's like, I got to get the hell out of here, man. That's kind of shitty to say. Well, not shitty to say, but shitty for the Raiders. So, no. Not Deontay or Devontae Adams. At least that's not what I mean, it may be. Guys, it could be anybody. I just heard something, and the last time I heard something from the same person, uh, it was right. And it's not me making it up or anything. I'm just saying I was just going off of what some other person had told me before, and yeah, they're usually pretty accurate. So, but I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to jinx anything, first of all. And honestly, I don't know if it would happen or will happen. So we might as well just let the speculation continue and allow these rumors to keep picking it up. And we'll see. I told Sean that way he could know if I was right or wrong. Well, if the person that told me was right or wrong. But he has taken over many games, Brian. No doubt about it. He's a beast, guys. Yeah, he definitely he does make you sweat, man. He can do some serious damage to any defense, and especially if he is on that day and the quarterback that he's playing with, they have that connection during that game. I mean, he could significantly do some real damage, really take over a ball game. He can put up monster numbers. He's a franchise type, true number one wide receiver in the NFL, no doubt about it, man. That's yeah, no doubt. He is something else. Um, I don't know. And if somebody of that caliber comes to the Steelers, you put George Pickens automatically at that number two spot in my eyes. Somebody that comes with that kind of pedigree, that type of talent, they are the number one. I mean, they are it. And maybe the Steelers don't want to do something like that. And I think of that too, guys, to where you wonder, do the Pittsburgh Steelers and Omar Khan want to back George Pickens into that corner? And I understand you want to be better. You want to create the competition within the room. You want to do all of those things here at the pro level. You want to make sure that your room is ultra competitive. You want to make sure that you have the right talent. You don't want to worry about people's feelings. But if you're trying to cultivate a wide receiver, turn that wide receiver into a number one target, do you want to bring in a bigger name guy than him? I don't know. I'm just saying, just tossing around ideas. Would that make sense? In terms of the way you're trying to cultivate George Pickens' talent into becoming that true number one? Is he even that true number one yet? I don't think so. He hasn't done enough yet. But he is a special talent. He does have the potential. He does have the ability to do it, in my eyes. Maybe some may think that he isn't a true number one. Maybe some may think that he's more of a situational type wide receiver, which I don't think so. I think he has an all-round game. I think his catch radius is phenomenal. I think his speed is sneaky fast. I definitely think that his routes have become better and better and better. I like the way George Pickens plays the game of football, man, no doubt about it. But I have concerns a little bit with his attitude, but I felt like he straightened that out a little bit at the end of the year and started growing into what you would want to see in a number one type guy in terms of attitude and the way he was approaching the game. And I felt like he became comfortable with Mason Rudolph, and that started to cultivate that relationship a little bit to where he was feeling comfortable, safe with him, knowing that he is going to try to get him the ball in every available opportunity. And I think that that's what you want to beat into these guys' heads. You know, you see these diva attitudes, but you want to beat into their heads. We are going to get you the ball when it is the right time, when it is available. Every single time we are going to try to do that. But if the situation isn't right, we're not going to get it done, man. So you're going to have to learn that sometimes, you know, you might get two catches in a game. You might get, you know, one touch. That just may be how it unfolds, you know? George T says, hell no, don't trade Highsmith. That was the question I've been having all day long. That was the big question for me after seeing it in a couple different articles from several different media outlets surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, the so-called insider guys, you know, talking about would you be willing to put a player for player type trade in to go grab a Brandon Ayuk? Where is the value now with Brandon Ayuk now that this is all went down a little bit and taken a little bit of a back burner in terms of what the 49ers, you know, were trying to get it done quickly. Now maybe they're just trying to wait it out and see, you know, hey, keep him. Maybe that's in their best interest. What's the value, though, to another team, you know, knowing that how long this is been dragged out? Are they able to get him now for a player for player that's cheaper? Would you do a Dan Moore Jr. type trade? Or would you want to see Dan Moore stay no matter if he is the starter or not at either tackle position in terms of depth? I like to err on the side of caution and always have that available depth in the building. That's just me. But would I be heartbroken to see Dan Moore Jr. go? Absolutely not. I think that forces the Steelers' hand into forces them into playing their young stud, newly drafted tackle, in my eyes, a real stud in Troy Fautanu, and I think that that forces them into allowing this young group to get out there immediately and start to get to work on their chemistry. I think that that is a plus for me in my eyes. Instead of playing the Mike Tomlin games of his style roster management in terms of not letting players play early and often. And I get his rationale, and I'm not like dogging him for it. You want to let guys grow into their role. You want to allow them to get comfortable at the NFL level. I'm not dogging him for that. But I think sometimes you have to play guys a little bit early. And I think it's for the sake of the team around them to see what you got, to see if the plan that you put into place draft night and in the offseason is going to be a viable plan, if it's going to be a plan that works. You know what I mean? Getting these guys in and just seeing what's going to happen here, because get out of it. If it's not going to work, it's not going to work. If you don't see improvement all the time, and I'm not saying it has to be drastic improvement. I always say that. I know people want to see big leaps from these players, but if you're watching the game in detail and you're looking at every snap and you're looking at that player in particular on tape, and you can see each week them correcting things that they've maybe not have done so great the week before, you know, slightly. But you see that sign of improvement each and every week. You know that you're on the right path. But I definitely think that they got to get these guys together early. Now, as far as Alex Highsmith, I'm not willing to trade him either in my eyes, because I think that you have one of the league's best pass rush duos right now in Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt. And I understand TJ Watt is the best defender on the planet, guys, no doubt about it. He makes anybody look good. He's going to elevate the game of anybody he plays with. But I can still see times when Alex Highsmith has been out there without TJ Watt that he is still able to shine. Now, is the defense the same without TJ Watt? Absolutely not. But you got to remember, when you're dealing with the best defender in the world, that is a monster drop-off whenever he's not in there. So, yes, Alex Highsmith, I think, is a valuable piece to the Steelers' defense heading into 2024, and I'm not sure that I'd be willing to trade him off. Now, how does Nick Herbig look during training camp this year? I think is going to be a big telltale on whether they'd be willing to part ways with an Alex Highsmith. But again, it all reverts back to that depth also, and I think that you have to be prepared for injuries, and you have to have guys on the roster that are viable options to bring in and not lose. Like when TJ goes out and you're just like desperation mode because you just don't know what to do. You can't have that situation, man. And the Steelers definitely have had that over the last few years. Whenever TJ Watt goes down for any time, he is sorely missed, and it shows so big on the stat sheet, so big in the score box. Definitely his presence is missed greatly whenever the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have TJ Watt. All right, guys, we're talking Steelers. We're talking NFL here on Steel City Live. I'm your host, Jason, here on our daily live stream. Make sure you're hitting the shit out of that like button for us. As we continue to move through the show, this is a place where you can have your voice heard. We try to get through every chat question the best we can, but continue again to hit that like button. That really helps. And I truly appreciate it. Brian says, yes, I would be willing to trade Highsmith, but only for about 3 or 4 guys in the league. Yeah, I mean, if it's a different offseason, if it's a different time in your pass rushing depth chart, I don't know if you're comfortable with Nick Herbig just yet if you're the Steelers. I don't know if you have enough depth to withstand losing a guy like an Alex Highsmith. Does TJ Watt elevate enough players around, or the players around him, or that he is playing with enough that, as long as TJ's in there and healthy, they'll be good. They'll be all right. They'll be serviceable, no matter who's playing across from him. I don't know those answers, and I don't think any of us do. That's the thing, when you look at these trades, you really got to take depth into consideration. And I say it all the time. Depth wins championships in this league because you are going to have injuries. It's inevitable. It happens every single week in the NFL, and you have to be able to overcome those injuries. And without solid depth on your roster, you're in trouble, man. And the Steelers have shown or had that happen to them and shown sometimes weaknesses in depth, And I know last year the middle linebacker situation was definitely, bad because they lost a shit ton of guys. What are you doing, Jackson? All right. Sorry, guys, that little interruption. Make sure you close that, please. What's up, Justin Meneke? Daniel Warman, what's up? Do you think the schedule was fair in the AFC North? Whether it's fair or not, you were going to play those games anyway. The question of whether it's fair or not is the amount of divisional games that you play in a certain amount of time. And I think that was all just set up for this TV show. The Hard Knocks show definitely was. I mean, it's obvious. They were filming this show. They knew they were going to film this show. They knew it was going to be the AFC North. They knew exactly what they were doing when they made the schedule. They wanted those games so that crew could get in to the intimate knowledge, or have intimate knowledge and record exactly what goes on during these tightly contested AFC North divisional games, the black and blue division, to where every team this year, I believe, could make the playoffs. I think it's that kind of division this year. I know people have said that before in the past, that, hey, every team in this division, it could be the year. This might be the year that I think that could happen. I think it's a very solid division, top to bottom. I think every week is going to be a particularly hard game within the division. I don't think there is any gimme games in the division at all, and that goes for any team. You cannot overlook anyone, man. There is no game that you're going to walk into and just curb stomp somebody. I just don't see that happening. I could see some really highly contested games. And honestly, guys, I wouldn't be really shocked if a lot of those games in the back half of this NFL season for the Steelers and the rest of the AFC North weren't going to be flexed into those prime time, those national game type time slots over and over and over again. And I think you're going to see that a lot here in the back half of the season with the flex schedule stuff. I think you're going to see the AFC North put into those prime time positions, because I think this battle is going to be a vicious battle. What worries me, and why I think maybe it isn't fair, is that they're going to beat each other up pretty damn good. And how does that set up whatever team comes out of that when the smoke settles and the dust clears? How is that team going to fare when they get into that playoff race? Are they going to be so beat up after that gauntlet of divisional games? Are they going to be able to be good and win ball games? Are they going to be able to make a splash in the playoffs? That's what worries me. But on the other hand, I could say it would battle test a team. It would make a team really, really strong. And then when they did get into the playoffs, there wouldn't be any games that, really overwhelmed them because they would have just come off a monster stretch of games of significant importance week after week after week, and really getting themselves build up into a real contender. So, on one hand, I could see the teams being so beat up they can't do anything. And then on the other hand, I could see a team emerging from the AFC North that is so battle tested and so good by that time, if they are able to remain healthy, that they would be real trouble for anybody inside of the AFC conference, to where they could potentially have a nice chance at making a Super Bowl run. So that's my answer for that. And I think it's a two-sided coin here, man, for sure. I think that you could go either way with it. And it just really is going to depend really how it shakes out. Whether it's fair or not, I don't know. Because I think that there's two ways that it could go. One being very beneficial to a team inside of the AFC North, and the other way being horrible for some. And you look at it this way too: whichever teams, don't come out of it healthy, aren't able to succeed in that back half. Are we all going to say it's unfair for them, just because, hey, your team didn't do as well. It was an unfair schedule. It's a very sticky and quality question that you have there, Daniel. No doubt about it. Very solid question, but one that I think is going to require seeing it to kind of know. Robert Rowe, what's up? Herbig is a stud, but so is Highsmith. Highsmith is proven, and he doesn't miss time. No on trading Highsmith. Yes, that's another thing, Robert, that I like about Alex Highsmith. He is reliable, and he has the best availability, or the best attribute, and that's availability. We all know that for sure. A guy that is relatively healthy the majority of the time. You're always going to have nicks and bumps and bruises inside of the NFL. Absolutely. But definitely Alex Highsmith is a guy that definitely is there, and you can rely on him week in, week out. Robert also says, I like the rotation of Highsmith, Watt, and Herbig, getting snaps, backing both of them up. Yeah, and I want to be able to see another reason when you say that rotation. I want to see Nick from both sides, and I like that, what you said, that rotation, mixing it up, backing them both up. I definitely want to be able to see Nick Herbig from both sides, see what he can do in terms of which side he's best at, where he looks the most comfortable, where he's able to do the most damage, the most splash type plays. That's what you would want to see if you're the Steelers coaching staff, franchise, as to what you would want to do moving forward. You look at this team in 2025, you say they can afford all these players no matter what. They're not going to be, dropping dudes off because of salary, because they're going to have an abundance of cap space available to them. So, we'll see how this all transpires again. But we all look at that cap space and say, man, it's a lot. But sign one big name wide receiver and sign one quarterback that has significant value to them. That eats up all that money. Gone. See ya. Goodbye. All right, let's keep going here. Danny George, we love the Steelers. That's a fact. Absolutely. You guys are diehards, man. Diehards, and I love it. I too am, but you guys are even more diehard than me. Russ, what's up, Jason, chat family? 1 week to go before Here We Go Steelers. Absolutely, and you can feel it in the air, Russ. This is the Friday before the season really officially begins. And I know a lot of people say the season begins the week one. No, the diehards know when the season begins, because they know when the work has to be put in order to be successful. And that is now, here, late July, when teams start to report for training camp. That is when the season begins. That is when the work begins. Actually, the work already started, but the real season, in my eyes, begins in Latrobe, Pennsylvania for the Steelers and any team going to training camp. That's when things really start to ramp up. That's when things start to be sorted out. That's when you start to figure out these position groupings. You start to see what your true needs are really for this ball club. You know, we can all sit here and speculate, and every media person in the world can have their opinions on which position group needs tweaked, which, position groups need help brought in. We can all do that over and over and over again. But until you see these guys get to camp, start to get things done, that's when you can start to truly see the real picture of this football team. And that's why I say the reality of the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, and I gave it out in a video yesterday, was the offensive line, the defensive front. That's the reality right now ahead of training camp. Those are the two things that you got to look at as a Steelers fan and say, that's where the focus has to be right now to start camp. That's your base. That's your starting point. And that's where you got to start getting right, man. And that's what wins ball games. Robert Rowe, Dan Moore is gone after this year. Play the young guys now, and if you can get something decent in return, you trade more now. Yeah, definitely. I agree. And the only thing I say is depth, and I like to have starter-capable depth pieces. I definitely do. But I have to agree with Robert also, if the value is there, if the things that are necessary in order to make that trade are in place, if you're Omar Khan, you pull the trigger, absolutely. You don't wait, you get rid of him, because I think your game plan that you put in place here was to have a super highly touted, highly talented young offensive line that you've been building here over the last couple seasons in terms of your draft picks, free agency acquisitions. You've been building this lineup to get to this point, and you have to implement it now. And I think no matter what, if Dan Moore's on this roster or not, you play these young guys. It has to be the necessity of this football team to get that done. And if you're Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin's sitting there saying, I'm going to allow this guy to grow, I'm not going to push him in there right away, I think Omar should have a little bit of a pushback on that and say, Mike, this is the plan. This is where I think this roster needs to be. You just coach them up. I think that it's time for that kind of shit, that kind of a conversation to happen, and say, look, I'm building this roster for you. I just want you to coach them when they're in place. And I think maybe separating maybe some of that kind of shit, roster management wise, might help a little bit in terms of the coaching. Hey Russ, what's up? What's up, Danny George? I'm just reading your chats, guys. Sorry, getting through. Saw a pic of TJ and Nick after workout. Both look ripped. Yeah, I put that in our thumbnail yesterday, Russ. They do look ripped up. Yep, Russ, two studs. Justin Meneke, do you see our Steelers winning a playoff game this year or two with the schedule we got? That's the thing, Justin. I don't know. I think they, in my eyes, on paper, I can see this football team winning a playoff game. Now, after that, all bets are off, because I think the playoffs are a roll of the dice. They're exciting. Anything can happen any given Sunday. So, it's hard to sit here in July and really pick that and, get into that conversation really after, more than one game or a playoff berth. On paper, I think this team can get there. And I think they can win a wild card playoff game, at least right now as I'm thinking. Once again, when I see them in camp, guys, and I start to see this thing build and grow, you can get a better picture. And I can tell you then, wholeheartedly, whether I'm worried about it, whether I don't see it happening, I can start to really get that vibe. And I think a lot of that you need to see probably in person a little bit, see how it's working out, hear how the team's interacting with each other, see the urgency on that field, getting out there, to Latrobe, Pennsylvania, seeing which guys are coming down early and getting work in before practice. See which guys are staying after practice and getting that work in. Those are things you don't see reported a lot of the times. Here and there you do, but you don't see those things being reported a lot. Those guys that are in there working early or staying late, putting in that overtime, man. Though that's the type of thing you want to see. There's several seasons that you go up there and you'll see certain wide receivers or certain DBs, certain linemen, whoever, out there taking extra reps, out there doing extra work, while the field crews out there cleaning up and shit and straightening the field up, and you see those guys out there doing the things necessary to get better. And usually those guys do have success, usually. But I could see him winning a playoff game. Let me report this guy. There we go. All right. Yeah, don't trade Alex. Yeah, I'd have to agree. TD, did you see the Broncos lineman Martinez extension for 80 million, 4 years, 45 million guaranteed? We're going to lose linemen to contracts like that. Yes, and I think the first casualty you'll see is James Daniels. And are the Steelers willing to part ways with James Daniels over a contract issue? Absolutely. I think so. And I think they're already preparing for life after James Daniels because I think they see the writing on the wall with that. And I think they're okay with that in terms of what they've been able to bring in, guys that they're excited about. I think they're excited about a young guy in Mason McCormick. I think they're excited about some other young guys that, may not have seen the field just yet in terms of significant snaps on the offense, and Spencer Anderson, players like that, to where I think they're comfortable with some of this young talent that they're bringing in. And I think that that's their true hope, is to have here this year and next year 90% of that offensive line in 1-2 year players, first year, second year type players, man. I think that that's what they're looking for. And I think they've done a great job at acquiring this young talent. And that's why I think it's so important to get them to play now early and often. But that is a monster deal, and you are going to lose players to that. If teams are willing to overpay for a position, you're going to lose people. And honestly, we'll see, though. Every player don't get those types of contracts. Every player don't get those types of offers, even if they are pretty damn good. I think you got to hit the market at the right time. You got to hit the needs of a football team at the right time. Maybe there isn't a monster need for guards at that time, across the league, to where teams are overpaying or searching. So you may have a fair shot at getting them. Getting your guy signed to a team-friendly, decent deal. I'm not saying you gyp the guy and don't give him what he's worth, but you're not overpaying. You're not killing yourself with guaranteed money and shit. Willie Johnson, what's up? Don't look now, but I'm back on Mike Drop Sports. Hey, Willie, what's up? David Henneke, what's up? I think Omar Khan is the right person to get things rolling for a Super Bowl run. That's from Willie Johnson III. Yeah, I think Omar Khan's done a phenomenal job, guys. And I know there's people out there that beat him down, say he's being cheap, say he's doing things that aren't, necessarily the right moves offensively just yet. But I think Omar Khan doesn't make knee-jerk reactions. I think that he thinks and plots out his plan, and it may not be evident to some, but, and he may not announce it to the world what he's trying to do, which he shouldn't. But you can slowly start to see his plan take shape. And I think so far he's done the right things. I definitely think that. And I think he's made some quality moves. I think he's brought in players that I believe can make an impact and get the Steelers through this 2024 season while they are still building up around this, every position on this football team seems to, get some new talent sprinkled in here and there. All right, guys, we're about 28 minutes into the show. Make sure you're hitting the shit out of that like button for us here on Steel City Live, our daily live stream only here on Mike Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason. As always, become a Mike Drop Mafia member, 99 cents a month. During the season, you're going to get members-only live streams, members-only shows, and other cool perks, emojis, all that types of stuff. So make sure you become part of the family here. Get in early. It's 99 cents a month. That'll never, ever, ever change. It'll always be 99 cents a month. Even if this channel had 1 million subscribers, we would never adjust that price. It's always going to be 99 cents a month here at Mike Drop Sports. And I believe that's pretty cheap compared to the other channels. Danny George, is everyone getting fired up yet? Man, I'm beyond fired up. I'm ready, man. I got my calendar full on my phone, so my phone has like all these little red dots all over the calendar for training camp ticket days. Man, I already got the tickets in there ready to go. So yeah, all these different days, I'm pumped. Like I said, I ain't gonna go to them all. I hope to make it to a few though. We'll see what happens, but life's busy, man. So, all right, what's up, Oscar? How are you, David Henneke? Are you talking to me, Russ? Oh, sorry. Love your voice. Who's your team? Bears fans. We have lots of Bears fans that come through here. There's a couple that I haven't seen in a while. I'm gonna have to shout them out here soon. But we talk Steelers here majority of the time. We do talk NFL talk though from around the league. So yeah, we just try to have fun, talk football here. Good to see you though, Lennon. Glad to have you. I like Omar. That's from Russ. Absolutely, man. I gotta say, I feel like the Steelers really hit the jackpot with Omar Khan, and I feel like that he traveled the correct road in order to become a general manager. Being with the Steelers, understanding the cap, being that cap guy for so many years. I think really getting to watch Kevin Colbert work, getting to watch the league change and develop, and I think that he became a general manager and became the leader of the Steelers at the exact right time in his career, to where you have a mix of a still relatively young guy and a really smart guy and a guy that can still relate to the roster, relate to the players that he's trying to bring in. And I definitely think that that matters in today's NFL. Jason, you must be giving off some vibes. All girls. I don't think that was a girl. I think I was a guy. Field should be your starter by next season. Yeah, you never know. We'll see how Russ handles his business, definitely, because I think Russell Wilson is on a mission. I think that he has shown that clearly this offseason exactly what he is all about. And that is going and winning a championship here. And I think he cares about nothing else other than this football team right now at this stage in his career. I think that he is all in, and I like that. Now, does his attitude and his work ethic, is that going to match to the skill set on the field at 35, 36 years old? Time will tell. But I definitely think Russell Wilson has a year or two, year or three still left in him to be able to play at a high level. He takes care of himself. He's in super shape. So definitely I think Russell Wilson has the ability to do it. I think Justin Fields, he has to learn this year, guys. It's so imperative. Please don't sit there and wish that he is put in or thrust into action, because I think that'll be detrimental to his ability to grow. He was in a very bad situation, getting coaches flopped around on him, systems flopped around on him a little bit. And himself didn't do himself any favors by fumbling the football, throwing a lot of interceptions, being a run first type guy instead of a pocket type passer. Instead of trying to cultivate his passing game from inside of the pocket, he chose to run a lot of the time first. And that's not what you're looking for at the NFL level. You're looking for a pass in the pocket first type guy with athletic ability that can move if need be. That's exactly what you're looking for. That's the formula for success. Anybody that acts like having a running back as your quarterback is the right move, that's going to win you championships, you're wrong. I'm sorry. The statistics, the just look at the history of the NFL. You don't see that happen. You see guys nowadays that can pass from the pocket, that have the athletic ability to move when need be. Those are the guys that win. Yeah, that's the true formula. TD Omar knows that every move cannot be a big move. Yes, TD, absolutely. Every move isn't going to be a gigantic move. And I always say it, we live in a society full of instant gratification. Everybody wants the big, new, shiny toy right now. They have no patience. They cannot wait for what they want. They have no patience. They want these moves made now, whether they make sense or not. And people get blinded by that. People get blinded by this notion of every deal's going to work no matter what. It doesn't matter what you trade off. It doesn't matter what you pay them. Every deal will make sense. No, You have to be patient, and every deal isn't going to be a big one. Every deal isn't going to be that splash move, but every deal has to be one that's been thoughtfully thought of, and you're bringing in guys that are going to help, guys that are going to be able to contribute to this football team, and that has to be your goal. And if the answer is yes, and they check all the boxes that you're looking for, bring them in, and then worry about, hey, are these guys a high price tag or whatever? And yeah, I'm willing to pay a high price tag for a guy that is going to make a monster difference. But again, I think Omar Khan isn't going to be financially irresponsible, and I don't think he's going to put this football team in a major hole to where they're always trying to figure out how to dig out from underneath the cap. I don't want to see that either, because then that becomes shitty football. Because now what are you going to do? Go out there and get cheap people, try to recoup. You're going to go out there and make some dumb moves, bringing in guys that aren't the right answer, but yet they fit financially and they fit to get you back underneath the salary cap, and they're a warm body. I don't want to play that game, man. I don't want to do it. Russ says, I am stoked with Russ. Has all guys training with him now. He's focused for a Super Bowl. Do you think key to our season is O-line developing fast? Yeah, Russ, I've been saying that here. I think I feel like I've been pretty good on that being my real true defining thing of what this football team is going to be able to do here in 2024, and that is that offensive line. How quickly are they going to gel? Is Mike Tomlin willing to start all those young guys and maybe put a veteran guy like a Dan Moore Jr. to the back burner and not risk another season of Broderick Jones being stuck at the right tackle spot? And if you're looking at Broderick at being the right tackle for the long term, get Troy Fautanu placed right now to this week coming up at the start of training camp at the left tackle spot. If that's your plan, do it. Implement it. Whatever your plan was, don't wait. That's my thing, and I think that is the monster key to this season, man. And I think if you start to see in training camp and during these preseason games, you start to see that offensive line really getting better. You start to see them do some special things, really being consistent. I think that could spell really good things for Russell Wilson and the Steelers offense and Arthur Smith and what he is going to want to do as the offensive coordinator. I definitely think that. Let me get a drink, guys. Make sure you're hitting the shit out of that like button as we're about 40 minutes through the show here on Steel City Live. I appreciate you all for stopping in. Danny George going to try to get to camp first week. We'll try to find you up there. That would be a blast. Absolutely, man. Thank you. Definitely. I don't know which day. I do have one day blocked out. I think it's like Saturday or something next week. We'll see. What's up, Tom Ford? TD, I'm good if Omar makes a move, and if not, I'm good with what we have now. Yeah, and guys, honestly, you look at this roster, it's not a bad roster. It's a roster that I think can be a winning one. I just don't see the desperation in some fans' thoughts. I can't get on board with that, I think that some fans are overreacting a little bit to certain situations, to certain position groups. I feel like the need is there, yes, but is it the desperate need? The answer is no, in my eyes. Would you be willing to trade like a Calvin Austin off for a wide receiver or something? I mean, there's so many different things that could happen from now until next week. I have one thing that, again, I think could be an addition, and I think it would be a monster move, and one that is talked about in a big way. But again, I'm not 1,000% sure on that, so I gotta keep it under my hat, man. I'm itching to say it though. Russ says, I think Deshaun Elliott and Deontay Johnson make big impact in secondary. Oh, Dante Jackson? Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Deshaun Elliott, I think, is going to be an immediate plus for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he does everything well that we don't want to see Minka have to do. And I think that that's what you are looking for in a safety if you're the Steelers. You don't want to match skill sets, what Minka does best. You don't want to match those two types of things. You want to bring in a guy that's going to be willing to do the dirty work, drop down in the box, allow himself to be more involved in the run game, allow himself to be more of a dirty work type player, allow Minka to do what he does special, and that is tracking the football, making those splash plays, being a ball hawk back there. Applying great coverage at times. That's what you're looking for out of Minka Fitzpatrick. You want him to go back to being the X factor that he was when he first came to the Steelers organization from the Miami Dolphins. When the Steelers traded a first round pick for him, they knew he could be that X factor. And I think last season, with the injuries and the way that the Steelers had to play defense and the way they had to scheme things up to keep that defense playing at a high level, I think it's started to play out of Minka Fitzpatrick's wheelhouse a little bit. And I think he had to start doing things that, weren't Minka-like. Not what made him that X factor in those first seasons or two with the Steelers. I definitely think you might see that again this year. You might see Minka become that X factor once again and become somebody that can really make those splash plays and really get exciting, plays going on the back end of that defense. And I think Minka Fitzpatrick is due for a big all-pro season. I definitely think so. And I think Dante Jackson's going to be that number 2 cornerback, that guy that's going to play across from Joey Porter Jr. And I think he can surprise a lot of people and be an excellent number 2, an excellent guy to play across from Porter, and very serviceable, very quick. I definitely think that he will fit this scheme well and be able to do the things that he is required to do. And I like the depth there. The young depth talent at that cornerback position, I think, is a good one. And I know when Cam Sutton was suspended for the 8 games, people started to get desperate about the cornerback position, saying that, the Steelers need to have a lot of help there. If you remember my comments before all that, before Cam Sutton ever even came into the fold, I had made the comment. I think the Steelers got a lot better and are a lot more comfortable with a lot of that young talent that's on this team, and that they quietly have gotten better back there at the cornerback spot and at the safety spot, in my eyes, with the addition of Deshaun Elliott. But definitely, I think the corners can get it done, and I think there's enough young talent to do it. Slash was an awesome player who made playoffs. Fields with 2 power backs would be amazing. Rooting for Wilson, however, I like him being a Steeler. That's from Sam Mason. How many Super Bowl rings does Slash have as the quarterback of the Steelers? That's the thing, too. Slash, though, and I think a lot of people forget this, Slash could run, but what could Slash also do? He could throw from the pocket pretty damn well. And guys, I hate to say it to you, you cannot win in this league without a guy that can throw from the pocket. You cannot. And I will go stand on any hill and scream that out and die on that hill. You cannot win without a guy that can throw the football from the pocket. You cannot do it. You cannot be successful. You cannot win a championship. And that's just the way it is. It's not Jason making it up. It's what statistics show. It's what it is what it is, man. I love Slash, but Cordell had a great arm, great nose for anticipating wide receivers' movements, and he was able to throw wide receivers open. He was able to read coverages. Slash, Cordell Stewart wasn't just a one-trick pony. Cordell wasn't just a runner. Cordell was a guy that could throw the ball, and Bill Cowher was super comfortable with him being the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Cordell Stewart, honestly, was pretty damn close to getting things done, but he wasn't just that run-first type guy. He could run, and that's what I say. In today's NFL, and I think throughout forever, I think the best guys at quarterback are the guys that can throw from the pocket and be highly effective, but yet have that athleticism to be able to run when necessary, when absolutely necessary. The quarterback's number one focus has to be allowing the playmakers to get the football, facilitating the football to the playmakers, because there's going to be become big moments in games to where just running it, tucking it, and running it ain't going to get it done, man. And, there comes times you have to deliver a big pass in a big moment in a highly contested area and you're going to have to perfectly place a football for your wide receiver. If you can't get those things done, man, you're not going to be successful. Tom Ford, I think I might know who the receiver is that you were talking about. No, not Devontae Adams. I'd like to see Devontae, though. I wouldn't be mad if that was the case. Russ Cower was big on bringing vets into camp to help Tomlin needs to. I don't know. I don't remember back then, Russ. I don't know what Cower did with that, honestly, in terms of camp. You would be better served to tell us about that. I really, truly don't recall whom he brought in and what. I like vets coming. I do. But do I think that it, makes a monster difference? Maybe to some, maybe some to not. I don't know, Russ. I really, really don't know. I have to be, honest. I don't know what kind of effect that has. I love to see though the veterans, the guys of the older days come and be around that football team and do those things. Showing, talking, telling younger guys what's going on or how things have been done over the years, giving them advice. I'm all for that, no doubt about it, man. And if that's what Bill did, I'm still down for it today, and I'd like to see it, no doubt about it. Robert Road, I really think that the O-line will be very good, and I don't think it will take that long. 2 vets at guard and Jones, so a lot of snaps last year, and will be back in his natural position. That's the thing. Those guys definitely, the 2 veteran guys, and Broderick now going into year 2. Hopefully he'll be back at a more natural position for him. I hope that is the case, man. I really, really do. But all offensive lines have to get snaps together because you want all 5 of those guys working as one big machine, man. That's what you have to have. That's what separates the elite offensive lines from the good ones. The good ones are full of talent and guys do their own thing, and they're fairly successful. The elite offensive lines are big monster machines that work together, know what each other's going to do, and are very efficient with their calls and their checks, and very efficient with reading the defenses and knowing what their job is going to be, knowing when their job is going to change due to the scheme of the defense. Those types of things is what you're looking for out of that offensive line, absolutely. And I think you're right, Robert. They could gel pretty quick. They could get quickly good. And I hope that is the case. I think, that would be awesome for the Pittsburgh Steelers, no doubt about it. Yes, smart O-line guys. You say that, Russ, there. Smart O-line guys. That's exactly what you're looking for, too. These schemes are complex in the NFL. You're going to see guys at the NFL level that play certain positions that are going to roam around, that they're going to move around and adjust. They're not just going to be, trees rooted down in the ground in the same damn place. When you draw your X's and O's, when you're learning your plays in the playbooks, that player isn't going to be just right where the coach says, where they're lining them up. You want these smart football players that understand defensive scheme, understand how to check in and out of different blocking schemes for the offensive line. And a lot of that comes from what? The center position. And I think Zach Frazier can do just that. He can be that guy for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think that's what makes elite centers also. Guys that know their job, that know everybody's job on that offensive line. And they are able to be that field general for that group. And I definitely think Zach Frazier has that potential. He has that intellect. You saw Marquise Pouncey be able to do it. Dermonte Dawson, Mike Webster over the years. Many Steelers centers that have been able to get the job done and do those types of things and be those smart types of players. Robert says Frazier will play like a vet. I'm not at all worried about Frazier. I'm not overly worried about him either. I think he had the most experience at the center position coming out of the draft. I think he was the draft's best center. I know many people hyped up other players in that position. People were hyping up Jackson Powers Johnson. I think Zach Frazier is superior to him. I'm not saying Jackson Powers Johnson is a bad player, but Zach Frazier holds way more experience, and I really have concerns about Jackson Powers Johnson's concussion history. I have major concerns about that. And again, I like Zach Frazier in terms of his ability to have that advantage in the leverage department with his wrestling background. I really like players with wrestling backgrounds. I think that the leverage really plays a big role. Definitely am not concerned about Zach Frazier being able to fit. I think you're right. I think he will be able to fill the need the Steelers have at center this season. Ryan Stanley, what's up? Love the shirt, brother. I think my next home will be there. Need a freaking GoFundMe for a second home. Yeah, no doubt, Ryan. I agree, man. I'd love to have a house down there. My wife and I have talked about that many times as like an investment. Have like a rental down there to where you could rent it out all year and block out, 3-4 weeks when you want to go down there each year and be able to have a place to stay for free. It makes vacations a hell of a lot cheaper. You look at how these houses are now to rent down there for a week. You're looking at $4,000 or $5,000 for something, that's not very big, not great, which is crazy. So yeah, man, that would definitely be cool to have a home at Myrtle Beach, no doubt about it. Russ says Minka and YJ or TJ both gonna play pissed off. Gonna talk about getting talked about them. Yeah, I think Minka will play pissed off. I think he is due for a big year. I think he was really disappointed in his. Oh, excuse me. I think he was disappointed in his 2023 campaign. I think the injuries really, dogged him mentally. I think he is back to really wanting to play his brand of football. I definitely think that. And I won't refer to it as Minka ball like some of the media did. Man, that drove me nuts. Dude, mini camp was the worst, dude. When we had to hear that over and over. Yeah, Mike Tomlin, you heard Minka talk about playing Minka ball. Like, shut up. Shut up. It drove me nuts. D Jackson is fast as hell. He is. Slash was a badass from Tom Ford. Yeah, I like Slash, man. I like Cordell. I thought he could do it all. I definitely do. Agree, Jason. Got to have a pocket passer. Yeah, you got to have a guy that can do the job from the pocket and run when necessary. Yep, absolutely. That's just my theory, Randall Cunningham could run and throw from the pocket. Yeah, he could do both, no doubt. Sadly, he never won a championship, I don't think, did he? Maybe as a backup somewhere. He played forever, dude. But Randall definitely was a solid dude. Randall was that guy that played forever before, the people were thinking about Tom Brady's. You had Bernie Kosar, I think. Not Bernie. Was it Bernie Kosar? Maybe Bernie. I don't remember. Vinny Testaverde played forever. Those guys that played, for an obnoxious amount of time. Houday. Houday is so stupid. Please don't say Houday. Oh my God, I hate it. That is the worst phrase in sports. It makes no sense. It's cringy. It's cringy. I love the Bengals fans. I don't dog them because I respect everybody's fandom. I don't dog anybody's that are fans of other teams. I don't care who you support, but guys, please don't say Houday. It is so stupid. People laugh about that all the time. It is so cringy. Houday gonna beat. Come on, bro. Zach was the best center in the draft. Yeah, Rush, you know me, man. I've been saying that since before he was drafted. I said before the draft ever happened that I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers' best interest was to draft Zach Frazier. I thought that he was the best center that fit this program the best. I thought that he had, I didn't think, I knew he had the most experience at the center position. I thought he had the will, the work ethic, the want, the intelligence. He was the complete package. He checked every box for me if I'm, going down through a list of what I would be looking for a Pittsburgh Steelers center. That's what I'd be looking for. That type of guy. He's like that prototypical guy to me. Ryan Stanley, Jason, would you come to Columbus for a Buckeyes game and meet up with some family? Uh, yeah, I don't watch college football, but yeah, I'd probably do it. I like football all together, man. I'd definitely do it. It'd be fun. Robert Road, who's buying my ticket, Ryan? I'm just playing, buddy. Robert Road. The Steelers would have drafted Frazier even if Powers Johnson and all his concussions was still on the board. I think so. I truly believe that. I think the Steelers recognized exactly who the best center was in this draft. I think they sent out a little bit of a smoke screen down at the Senior Bowl, really showing a lot of love to Jackson Powers Johnson, getting a lot of hype built up around that. And I think teams do that purposely, especially when they know where they pick, what number they pick, who picks in front of them that are center needy or whatever position that may be needy for that position. And I think teams will hype up players to be able to kind of hope and ensure that their guy falls to them in the correct area of the draft. Bat 300 says, hell no, I wouldn't trade Highsmith. Yeah, a lot of us say no too, man. I agree with you. I wouldn't either. Robert Road, I always respond to Who Day with We Day. It's so cringy. I can't even do it, Robert. I can't even get it. I can't even do any response to it. It's super cringe, man. It makes my skin crawl. It's like one of those words, there's tons of words that are you hear and you're like, oh God, it makes you just want to cringe. Tom Ford, wasn't that cool as hell seeing Cowers players, Roethlisberger, Ferrier, Heath Miller, etc. on the Christopher Nolan's Batman, The Dark Knight. They were the Gotham Rogues. Yeah, that was cool. I remember that, Tom. Yeah, that was definitely cool to see Heinz Field being in it. Well, Ackersure, sorry. Willie Johnson III, our answer to the Bungles, who they, we day. Oh, God, please. Stop the who days, we days. All right, guys, we're about 56 minutes in. Let's make sure that we're hitting the shit out of that like button. I know it's been a little bit of adjustment here as we've moved our time back to a later time. So we are working on getting our viewership back up. We've been still doing decent, but let's make sure we crack the like button. That's more important than ever now to get the YouTube algorithm back on our side now that we switch time frames, time slots. They kind of bump you back a little bit. I don't know why. It's weird how that works, but definitely is a noticeable drop. So let's continue to do our work, man. Hit that like button. It's free. It's easy. And it doesn't cost you a damn thing, man. That's the most important part. And also, guys, make sure you're putting your comments, questions, and concerns in the chat. We have almost hit our hour mark. I know it's Friday, so I'm not as strict on what time I need to stop. Again, we had to move our show times and stuff. I know it's been a crazy week because of my coaching time that I need to be out doing that stuff. So it's definitely kicked us back a little bit here. So, we're adjusting, man. That's all we can do. No doubt about it. I'm just looking at some headlines here before we continue to move on. I know some of them, my internet might unplugged here. Hold on. Crazy, man. I'm plugging this in with an Ethernet now, so it's a pain in the ass. But I want to make sure I always go through, and I haven't today because we've had so many great conversations today. I haven't went through and looked at all the headlines for the Steelers, which I normally do while we're on the show. Just because. Did you guys hear this also? Bill Cowher Colin Cowherd projects the Steelers to miss the playoffs because he doubts their offense. If you believe anything Colin Cowherd says, you're a coward. No, I'm just playing. Now he's so fucking off base, man. Excuse my French. That dude, he's got some crazy takes. Crazy takes, man. And I think a lot of them guys do that. They don't even believe what they're saying. A lot of these guys, man, that are out there that say some of these off the wall things that just get people amped up. Guys, you got to remember they do this shit on purpose. They don't believe a damn word they're saying themselves. They don't believe anything they're saying. That's not how they truly feel. They say this shit just to get people fired up, so they get clicks, so they get views, to get people enraged, and people bite on it, man, and they play into it. Gives them somebody to argue with, I guess. I don't know. Oh, shit, I unplugged my whole damn thing. Hold on, let me plug it back in. I broke the clip off. That's what screwed me. So my Ethernet cable got like that little clip. I broke it off somehow. Happy Friday from George T. What's up, George T? Tom Ford, did the 49ers themselves say they wanted Highsmith as a trade? No, it's just been articles out there that I saw. So I wanted to ask our crew here, our audience, exactly what you all thought about it. I get, guys, I got to say this to you too. And I know we hit over an hour here so far. Thanks for staying with us. But I got to say this. When I make a thumbnail or something, some people blow it out of proportion, blow it out of context. They don't watch the video. They don't do anything besides look at that thumbnail, and they are commenting, sending me emails, telling me I'm crazy. I had one person like go ham on me, guys. Ham. I had to delete the comments out. And it was literally, I was basically, what was in the thumbnail was just to like say what was going on. It wasn't like my thoughts or anything. They didn't watch the show, and they like jumped down my throat. So yeah, remember that, man. They told me I'll never support you again. Like basically call me an asshole kind of deal. But yeah, please don't just look at the thumbnail and not watch the content. If you disagree with something in the thumbnail, make sure you're looking at the content and watching it, because your opinion might change once you hear what the person's saying. Willie Johnson, what's worse, who dat or who day? We say black and yellow, and black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Hey, man, I like black and yellow. I think who dat too, or who day, who dat. I think all that is cringy. I don't know why. I think it's stupid. I think when they are in the locker room or something, chanting it or something, and they are like putting it on TV, it's super cringe. And if I wouldn't want to be part of that locker room. It's so cringy, man. Chat Sports headline. Yeah, man, that Chat Sports stuff, they're pretty big though. People watch that shit. I don't know. JT, I've only seen a few. I think they have a lot of different channels. I don't think it's just one. I don't think Chat Sports just Steelers. I think they have a shit ton of channels, and I think they've hired people to do certain shows, like Steelers shows, blah blah blah, whatever. I think that's what that is. I'm not sure though. You'd have to refresh me on that, Robert. JT, what do you think about DK Pittsburgh Sports and what they say about the team? That's from JT. Guys, I try to watch DK when I can or listen to him. I like Ramon Foster's show that's on DK. I like a couple of their shows. I really respect Deon Kovacevic for his media honesty, for his integrity as a media personality in Pittsburgh. I truly respect him in that nature, or in that way. I think he is one of the better media personalities in the city of Pittsburgh, and I think it's definitely well deserved for his success, on YouTube and through his DK Pittsburgh Sports business. I definitely think all that is well deserved, and definitely seems like a stand-up guy in the media. I don't know him personally. I've never talked to him, but I definitely think he's a stand-up dude. I think he's one of the better media personalities in the city of Pittsburgh, no doubt, for sure. Russ, I always go to Bengals Steelers at Bengals Stadium every year. Brother-in-law lives there, has season tickets, love wearing Steelers gear there. Yeah, they can get on that the crybaby escalator to go home, dry their tears while they're going down there, get the wind hitting them, dry them off a little bit. You know who I thought was the funniest Bengals fan ever was that crying lady that everybody had all the memes about. You remember that crying lady? That was Fuck, that was so hilarious. She was balling, bro. Robert wrote, I never liked black and yellow. It will always be black and gold for me. Yeah, black and gold, no doubt. Sadly, though, it is really black and yellow. I don't know, though. I'm pretty colorblind, so I don't know. I've been told that. It all looks the same to me. It blends together. But I like black and gold better, too, Robert. Tom Ford, I can't stand Colin Cowherd. Yeah, I'm not a Colin Cowherd fan either, man. Again, I don't know the dude, but he's a very clickbaity type dude. That's usually wrong a lot. Good evening, everyone. Let's go Steelers Nation. There she is. What's up, Miss Pittsburgh in the house? Willie Johnson III, Colin Cowherd is the reincarnation of Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless, dude. I gotta say this, man. He is a real ass, man. And I don't blame Shannon Sharp for wanting to get out of there because honestly, some of the confrontations they had on there and what Skip would say back was beyond clickbait bullshit, was beyond just trying to stir the pot. He was just ridiculous, And who are you, Skip, whatever his last name is, to argue with a guy about NFL football when you've not played in the league and that guy is a Hall of Famer? How does your opinion? How is it any better than what he has? I don't get that. And he would argue about things that just made no sense. And it's like, you have a Hall of Famer that has intimate knowledge of this shit, and you're arguing about stuff that just doesn't make any sense, man. I don't know. I just think his time has passed, and it's time for him to move on also and get some new blood in there. I want to go see that new movie, Twister. I like the first Twister movie. That was a good one. I didn't know they had a second one. That's pretty cool. Colin is an idiot. Yeah, he is, no doubt. Cow turd. That's a good one, Robert. How was the movie, Miss Pittsburgh? Yeah, I would like to see that movie. David Henneke, is training camp going to be on TV? They do some broadcasting from there. I don't know exactly how much of it they show, but I believe it's like an all-day thing. They have interviews. They do a lot of that. So, yes, you will be able to do that, David. I know they do it on YouTube here, so definitely that'll be something. You can also tune in whenever we are up there. I'm going to go live from up there a little bit here and there. When I do get the chance to go, hopefully I'll get the chance to go. But I take my kids too, so I'll be doing stuff with them. They get autographs and stuff, so I'll be doing some of that. But I'll try definitely while practice is going on to go live and do some recaps of what I'm seeing and things like that. I definitely want to do that this year. I didn't get the chance, I don't think, to do my content really much from there last year. I don't think I did anything from there last year. I did take some pictures, had some photos, did some things like that, had a little talk with Calvin Austin, got a little snippet from him, but that was about it. But I'm going to do a lot more this year with it. Tom Ford, I agree with you, Robert. He was talking to Robert. I got the movie rating 7. Oh, sweet. I want to see it. David Henneke, yeah, Chat Sports have every NFL team, every college team, and also every basketball team. And it's like they just hire different people to work for them, I suppose. David, I think that's what they do. I think it's like a big company that just hires people to do it. I think their Steelers channel, whenever I looked at it, I've only seen it a couple times. I thought they had like 46,000 subscribers, which is crazy to me. I didn't think they delivered anything great for that many subscribers. But hey, whatevs. Teach their own. Congratulate them on their success, no doubt about it. Russ, the uniforms are black and yellow, not good. It confuses me and doesn't take much. I get confused easy, Russ. Ryan Stanley, I disagree about DK. The fact that he continues to call for Trevor Bauer to be banned from baseball is crazy. That did was a victim and say he shouldn't be able to work was it for me. I never watched his baseball content, Ryan, ever in my life. I have no clue what he said there, buddy. So I have no clue. I've only ever watched football stuff. So definitely never, I've never ever listened to one Pirates podcast that he does, so I wouldn't know that. But definitely send me a link or something in the micdropsports@yahoo.com email, and I'd like to hear it, definitely. But I definitely take your word for it. Miss Pittsburgh, when Burfict was acting a fool in Cincinnati, that's when that lady was crying. Yeah, dude, that was so funny. How they lost that game was so Bengals like, you know? And I felt bad for the fan base, and I felt bad for that lady because it's like they put so much energy into that football team, so much time, you know, rooting for that team, spending all their money and shit. And then to act a fool and lose that game in the manner in which that the Bengals lost that football game, man, that was a spit in the face to that fan base, and I felt bad for the Bengals fans that day, man. But I felt proud as hell to be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan because I felt like the Steelers weathered that storm, handled it correctly, allowed the others to act out, and knew what was happening and took advantage of the situation and came away with a win that they probably shouldn't have had, especially after Ben Roethlisberger got injured in that football game, was able to come back in late and get the Steelers in the field goal range to win. But definitely a football game that the Steelers shouldn't have won with the way they played throughout that game, but was able to keep their composure. And it showed that a team like the Steelers had been there before, and it showed that the Bengals had not. And it definitely was a real spit in the face to Bengals fans, no doubt about it, for them not to be able to handle their business. There's those towels. Wave those terrible towels from his Pittsburgh Burrows, accident prone. Yeah, and he gets a lot of weird injuries, man. It really concerns me with Joe Burrow, guys. I just don't know. Willie Johnson, who can forget that meme? That's as good as the angry Cowboy fans meme. Yeah, that was good one too, Willie. I liked it. JT on Football DK does a good job. Can't speak on the other sports. Yeah, JT, I've never listened to anything other than a football one, and I don't listen to it maybe once every couple weeks. I'll catch it and throw a comment in there and stuff because I like to support other creators and people doing stuff on YouTube. So I try to do it as much as possible to help people out. He probably don't need my help, but you know, I just always try to support people and listen and try to watch, but it's very hard. Whenever I do it myself, I don't want to be swayed or skewed by what others say a lot of the time, so I try to stay away from it. I kind of just read stuff, some articles and things of that nature, and try to stay up to date, but I try not to listen to too many Steelers podcasts because I just don't want my opinion to be swayed. I like DK a lot, and Ramon went to his store last year, met him and his wife, nicest people. That's good, man. I knew they had a store. That's pretty cool that they have that down there. So, yeah, definitely congratulations on all that for them. I despise Collinsworth. Yeah, I don't like Collinsworth either. Same here, Russ. He reminds me of me, Butthead. Skip would disrespect Shannon so much, and I really like Shannon. Yeah, Shannon's cool, man. Shannon gets a little crazy though too, but I like him all in all. Overall, I like Shannon. I think you know, he comes from humble roots, humble beginnings. I appreciate his attitude and the way he approaches things. Usually are pretty common sense, you know, based, and I like that. David Henneke, yeah, they there's every person to do like a different thing. Yeah, no doubt. Chris Collinsworth played for the Bungles. Yes, he did. David Henneke, can you say hi to TJ Watt for me whenever you go to training camp? Yeah, my son has a jersey signed by TJ Watt. But I'll say hi if he comes up. Sometimes they don't come up. Sometimes, dude, there's some asshole players. I gotta say that too. I gotta say that. I'm not saying 99% of them are super cool, but you'll get a couple of them that just think their shit don't stink, and they don't realize what butters their bread and what keeps them employed, and that is the fans of the NFL. Period. If everyone quit watching it and the fans weren't there, the league doesn't exist, man. And I think that that's very important. Now, should they have to, you know, sign for 3 hours after practice? Absolutely not. But I think it's very cool when you come up the hill, shake a few hands, kiss a few babies, sign a couple balls, whatever, and get on with your day. I don't think you need to spend a lot of time. I think there's some jackwagons there, though, too, that ruin it for everybody, that are grown-ass men that come with wagons full. Literally, dude, this pisses me off, and I have to say it, and we're about to wrap up. We've been all here to go in 73 minutes. I'm sorry, but we're going to get off here. Dude, last time I was there, there's these two grown ass men, willing a whole wagon full of nothing but memorabilia, bragging about how many signatures that they've gotten, that they've sold this memorabilia. They run like a memorabilia shop, and that's what they do. Go there and they get people to sign, and they ruin that shit for the kids and stuff, because when the players see that going on, they like go away from that whole area, and they'll, because literally what they're doing is just getting in a big group and they're just signing shit, going hard, and definitely they get pissed about that shit. You can tell. All right, guys. If I missed your comment, I got to wrap it up. We've been going for 75 minutes, basically. So, yeah, it was a Friday. So, good show. Glad to see everybody. Thank you. Let's get those likes up. Let's hit the like before you leave. I'd appreciate that. Before we're done watching, or before you click off the show, make sure you hit the like. I'd appreciate it so very much. We are down on likes today. We went extra time. But anyway, it is what it is. Next week is an exciting week. So make sure you're tuned into the channel every single day. We are going to have late, every day. Breaking news as it happens, as we find it out. We're going to cover it all, man. And training camp's going to begin. So it should be really fun. We will get this thing underway and get this 2024 campaign moving. So until next time, guys, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. Peace.